Hotep, Black Power. As always, giving honor to the ancestors, the Creator. Also, special Hoteps and H.A.A.R.Ps to all the brothers and sisters that I personally knew, that I didn't know, all the blood that was shed during the transatlantic slave trade. Brother Harris Abdul, Chief of Staff of the Street Law Soldiers, my father, Alan Tillman, my mother and father-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Hooks, Bill and Cecilia Hooks, and all my other relatives and friends and comrades that have made their the ascensions based on the struggle. What I want to talk about today is how, I was outside and viewing the weather. So many people are alarmed about how, warm it is. And I was trying to tell them that, as a result of global warming, first of all, thermal radiation, and also H.A.A.R.P, which is a weather manipulation modification center in Juneau, Alaska, who they can actually control the weather, because the white man has waited all of his life to be God, and now, he's been altering the weather, according to how they see fit, which parts of the world should be warm, which parts of the world should have a cooler climate, and so on and so on. Actually this is all based around money. So if you have a lot of tropical fruits and vegetables grown in certain areas, what they do, they'll ensure that it stays warm most of the time, most of the year in those particular areas, such as Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, California, where they have a lot of citrus crops growing. And now as the eastern region of the United States, have began to, cultivate a lot of citrus and tropical fruits and vegetables. So, and that's why the weather has been a little warmer. And also, if you didn't know, they were largely and solely responsible for creating the hurricanes and the tsunami. The Hurricane Katrina was largely put together by H.A.A.R.P. It's a weather modification manipulation center in Juneau, Alaska. And what they do, they have instruments that can put density and humidity in the clouds and heat the clouds up where it can just constantly rain, constantly snow, to the point where it aggravates the clouds, and then you have chaos within the clouds, and you have a tornado. And that's why they manipulate the weather like that. The purpose for Katrina, in case a lot of you didn't know, was they found that it was a lot of crude oil, good oil, under the ground in the lower Ninth Ward section of New Orleans. In other words, they found a gold mine in terms of crude oil in the hood. Lower Ninth Ward is the most povertized section of New Orleans, basically Louisiana, period. And so they created that, and at the same time they wanted to rinse and wash all the melanated people away during this hurricane. And that's why you see FEMA, who is FEMA is a terrorist organization, and what they did was flew around picking up little children to demelanate and sell them and trade them off in these pedophile rings in Europe and London to these white, sick, fucking old, decrepit, wrinkled ass, pale, raw motherfucking pedophile faggots. So that's why when you seen clips of Hurricane Katrina where you seen families on rooftops of their homes and the helicopters were coming and they were saying hand them the babies, and you know that's your natural instinct to save your child, so you're going to hand over the child trusting that this cracker is going to take the children to a safe location. And what they did, they just kept going and took them to these FEMA concentration camps where they experimented on them, taking their pineal glands out of their heads, demelanating them, castrating these, not only just the babies but children as well. And a lot of us are unaware of that. You don't have to believe it, but if and most of y'all only gonna believe it if the white man come on CNN and tell you himself. The devil tells you himself. However, thanks to good researchers and strong researchers, not to blow smoke, but I've done extensive research on the Katrina, which was nothing but a trial run, a Rex 84 trial run. King Alfred. It was just a trial run of how quick they can wipe a race of people out, melanated people out in one state. So Dick Cheney, who's in charge of Halliburton at the time, he was the CEO of Halliburton, which is a defense contracting company, and what he was paid by George Bush, $1.5 billion to take the gold and silver fillings out of the dead brothers and sisters' mouths in Katrina, and they were using them as another ingredient to make this cobalt over in Africa, where this precious mineral called cobalt is used to make all these cell phones, these iPhones, and what have you. That's why they colonize Africa. Over there they send, the average flight that goes over into Africa now is the majority of the passengers on those flights are Korean, are Asians, and they're going over there taking and colonizing and taking these cobalt minerals, this mineral cobalt from our people in the motherland, taking it back and making these iPhones and iPads and all these different high technology instruments, but during Katrina, I met a sister up here who said that she was a New Orleans resident, and she said during Katrina she went to a middle school in the gymnasium because she had a school bus that she commandeered and picked up all the elderly, all our elderly brothers and sisters. And when she stopped at the middle school to give them a break, let them stretch their legs or whatever, inside the gym, she saw about 25 youths, gathered trying to get themselves together, and trying to look for their families and come up with a strategic plan where they can get their families to the middle school where it was pretty warm, where it was safe and it was dry. And she witnessed these crackers with white jumpsuits on and helmets come in there and with assault rifles and kill all of those youths. Because what happened was a lot of those brothers were fighting back. When they caught on to what was going on about the mass kidnappings that was taking place by FEMA, they started shooting the helicopters down. So, they don't mention that in, the news. These crackers never mention this stuff. All they tell you is that to make it appear like, they done everything that they could to help the brothers and sisters down there, when all the time it was a strategic plan of annihilation of black people in New Orleans, so they could take over the city of New Orleans and begin to build this mega cracker power structure in New Orleans with all the billions and billions of dollars of crude oil that lay under our brothers and sisters where they reside at that they didn't even know existed. They put 29-foot alligators into the water during Katrina. FEMA did this, along with in conjunction with the C.D.C. And these crocodiles and alligators were going underwater, swallowing these brothers and sisters whole. And because I have a picture where they retrieved one alligator, they had to put him on a tow truck, and he was so big, and when they opened him up, he had so many pairs of jeans, dresses, shoes, that he had consumed so many of our brothers and sisters. And just as compliments of George Bush. Now the crackers, you may be wondering, or say, yeah, it was white people down there. George Bush sent these buses, these coach buses, down to the major hotels in New Orleans to pick up these crackers, and crackers only. Because when anybody of color tried to board the bus, they were not permitted to board the bus. It was only for crackers. At the Sheraton, at the Hilton, they had all these crackers secretly meet at these locations where they were picked up and taken to these luxury buses, taking them up north, to safe refuge. And so these are the things that took place in Katrina. Most of the youths, they were taken to concentration camps. They were castrated, because the tip of the penis is where the highest level of concentrated melanin is in a black male. And that's why during the Atlanta child murders, all the black victims were castrated, and the tips of their penises were cut off, But the Klan were responsible for the actual physical killing of these children. They were paid to do that, and they, laid it on Wayne Williams, who is a pedophile. And hold for 1 second. Okay, yeah. And so with Wayne Williams, he was given the charge for all of the children. And I'll discuss Wayne Williams at a later time. But back to Katrina, that's what happened in Katrina, and it was the same thing. If you look at the movie The Pelican Brief with Denzel Washington, you will see the same thing that happened in Katrina happened on The Pelican Brief, where they were trying to inform the public of what was going on in terms of H.A.A.R.P and the government, and creating this catastrophe for the purpose of this crude oil that was under the ground in the lower Ninth Ward. Now, in the Pelican Brief, 2 Supreme Court justices mysteriously died in the Pelican Brief movie. During Hurricane Katrina, 2 Supreme Court justices died mysteriously during that catastrophe. So you put the pieces together. All I'm giving you is the format, the roadmap for you to, put the pieces together, and you can come up with your own analogy and opinion, of what actually took, of the damage, not what actually took place, because I've just explained to you what took place. But what do you think we should do about that? Because we haven't done nothing about it yet. When Kanye West went on television, because like I said, they're not allowed. People think, these people got money and they can just spend and give up money whenever they feel like it. That's not the case. If you notice, during the telethon that they had during Hurricane Katrina, it was Kanye West, the Cracker, Mike Myers, and Chris Tucker. And when Kanye stated that he's going to get with his financial advisor to see how much he could give, listen to what I'm saying. He said that he was going to check with his financial advisor to see how much he can give. And when he said George Bush didn't like black people, Chris Tucker, who was a comedian, and most comedians are, under, the buffoonery that buffoonery mob, you know, where they're taken as a joke no matter what they do. Because Chris Tucker made an attempt to go over Africa, and he wanted to make a movie about Marcus Garvey. And the first thing that people thought, especially the cracker, that he was going to somehow make it into some type of comedy because they don't take him serious. And then when they found out that he was serious, what did they do? They put the IRS on his ass. You know. And so that's what they do. Now, I want to talk about that All-Star game again with you know, the big field 8, you know, King Kong, Shaq, for instance. See, he has incorporated and took on the ISIS energy, because he wants to show the cracker that he is a non-threatening black male. You know, this motherfucker's about 7'5", you know, and he could terrorize, he could be a terror to the motherfucking crackers. You know, but he has diluted his own H.A.A.R.P energy. He has diluted that energy and made himself like a motherfucking punk. Because you hear the cracker say, you know, he's so big, he's enormous, but he's really a teddy bear. You know, and that means that your motherfucking ass has been demasculized for purpose of making the cracker feel comfortable. Because your big ass, big 8, got up and picked a little white boy up because you wanted to show you don't want the crackers to be afraid of you. Instead of standing the fuck up straight up and don't worry about, you know, that's their problem if they're afraid of you, and be you. You know, you never been in any movies where it has dealt with black supremacy or us fighting this motherfucking cracker back. You could have played in Django. You could have been Django. You know, you could have played in that TV series Underground. You could have played in Rosewood, you know, as Big Baby. You know, I mean, it was a lot of different roles you could have taken on, but you wanted to play, you know, just a genie, a motherfucking big punk, an 8-foot faggot, black faggot that the white boy can rub a lamp and, you know, can control you. Shazam or whatever that shit was that you played, you know, and another one where you played like a fucking robot, you know, because, you know, you would have diluted your energy for the purpose of making the cracker feel comfortable, you know, and that's what I call a weak motherfucking nigga, you know. And when you played basketball, you was a terror when brothers was checking you, you know, slamming, tearing the motherfucking rims and all this shit down. But when it came to the cracker, you turned into the totally opposite. You know, you gravitated to a feline motherfucking energy. You know, where the crackers call you a teddy bear, that you're harmless, you're non-threatening. You know, you're just a big kid. And you sit back and grin like a goddamn buffoon slave. Knowing these are insults when you call a strong black man a motherfucking teddy bear that, you know, that cuddles up. Yeah, that's why Mia Long stopped fucking with you. Because she found out, you know, that you play the 50, plus you soft as a motherfucker. You know, you flex your motherfucking physical size around us. You know, that you ain't taking no shorts, you big Shaq and all this, but I've seen it. And I know a lot of people have seen it. You know. But then when you get around the cracker, you turn into motherfucking Sheila. You ain't Shaq, you turn into Sheila when you around the motherfucking cracker. Showing off your Masonic ring and all that old shit. You know, going out your way, breaking all types of rules and shit. in the Masonic order just to show the cracker that you have a piece of a little bit of man in your motherfucking ass. You know, and a lot of us don't see that. This is just another instance of when we look at a person's wallet instead of their motherfucking character. And that's why we come up short every time. We come up short all day. Because we don't check these motherfuckers. You know, if he was to watch this, and he was in D.C. He was in D.C. and he was with another NBA player. And he done something for a cracker. And he made it known. I think he was around some conscious black people down at Verizon Center. And he made it plain. He said, don't let nobody see you do nothing for the white man, because next thing you know, they're gonna say you are Uncle Tom and all this. And what you are. If you came out your mouth with that, you already know. Just like if you saw this video clip, which one day you will see it. One day you will, your motherfucking big ape ass will see it. You're gonna say, oh, that motherfucker ain't nothing. He just mad because he ain't paid and he ain't living large. And you'll throw all that shit out there. You know, but at the end of the day, when you by yourself, you know, my voice gonna penetrate your motherfucking soul and your energy. And you deep down inside, you're gonna say, yeah, he's right. But I gotta throw this shit out at him as a defense mechanism. But he's on point like a motherfucker about me. You know. And you're not the only one, man. It's thousands of you motherfuckers that play this big gangster thug shit when you're around black people. When you're around your people, you play this big hardcore motherfucker. But then when you get around the motherfucking crackers, you know, you ain't got no fight in you. You know, a lot of y'all talk this scholar shit like y'all scholars. But then when we talk about going to war, you come up with a whole different motherfucking agenda. Just like that. Using books to fight wars. When have you seen a war where motherfuckers will use the courtroom as the battlefield or use the library as a battlefield for a physical motherfucking confrontation? No, shit don't exist, man. You know, and if you're looking at history from Shaka Zulu and from all the way to today, you'll see the Panthers, none of them, they went on they took this shit to a physical level. They took this shit to the physical realm. You know, Toussaint Louverture, Bookman Dada, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Shaka Zulu, Queen Yaa Asantewaa, Queen Nzinga, Hannibal, you know, Marcus Garvey, the Black Panthers, Snick. You know, all of them got down on the physical because they know this is the only language this motherfucking cracker understands is the physical language. Foot in ass. Foot in ass. If you can come up with a better solution than what I'm suggesting, then let me know, because you know we done tried everything else. We shall overcome. We sung that shit to the goddamn threads of the record and came off. That Black Lives Matter. That's the new NAACP, which is financed by George Soros, a motherfucking white supremacist, a billionaire white supremacist, and drug lord. And he's allowed 2 lesbians, LGBT, to run the motherfucking movement, Black Lives Matter. If you look on the Black Lives Matter mission statement, it mentions nothing about police brutality against black men, in which it was originally designed for that. But for real, that was just a cover-up. That was just a smoke screen. Because Black Lives Matter, all it means is just, you know, gays matter, faggots matter, dykes matter, dick eaters, male dick eaters, and female carpet munchers matter. Thanks to Obama, who signed all these bills saying, yeah, you can't call a faggot. That's disrespect. That's abuse, verbal assault, and all this old bullshit. And if you look in D.C., which D.C. and Atlanta runs neck and neck as being the gay capitals of the United States, it looks like modern day Rome on a Friday evening in D.C., in Chinatown, all the way up through H Street, and Adams Morgan and Uptown, which the gays vote who's going to be the city councilman in those areas. 3rd District, Ward 5 and all that shit. The gays determine who's going to be their councilman. And they do have a councilman, Jim Graham, who is a open, old ass white homosexual. And who beat Malik Zulu Shabazz when Malik Zulu Shabazz ran for city council, just during the time when Dr. Collar was living. When Malik was focused, before he turned against Collar and done some underhanded motherfucking shit, which we'll deal with at a later time. And H.A.A.R.P and Black Powder, Darren Muhammad, who debated him in Baltimore and crushed him. Excuse me. And see, that's one of the problems where we don't say anything to each other for fear of somebody stepping to you. Now, when one of us, when a brother tell another brother something, he goes all out. All the gangster in him come out. He ready to throw down and get raw. But when the cracker says something, you don't have anything to say. Your defense level is on zero. Your defense level is on zero. But when somebody look like you say something, oh, you get motherfucking gutter. You can't wait to see this motherfucker so you can put that work in. Cause I'm about that life and I get down like that. Okay, that shit don't mean nothing in the hood. But you don't get down nowhere. You don't go downtown. You don't go to the courthouse and get down. You don't do none of that. All you do is sit and ready to punish motherfuckers that look like you. And that's why I point this shit out. Because if you got all that energy and you talk all this shit, half of y'all poisoning the community. You're date raping these motherfucking queens and these elderly people for drugs. Because that's all it is. They're giving you permission to rape them for $10. A $10 fucking hit. All it is rape with consent. And you comfortable with that shit. But you won't do none of them motherfucking cave bitches like that. You'll marry one of them. Suck on their motherfucking filthy, fishy asses, shitty, fishy asses all day. Lay on top of them while they smelling like motherfucking German shepherds. You don't have a problem with that. You can't even drink a cup of water around them motherfuckers because hair be all in the goddamn water. You don't have no problem with that. Fucking that cave bitch, that savage bitch. You give them the utmost respect. And then you treat your sisters, like cold-blooded shit. And not only that, you allow the motherfucking white so-called imposter Jew, which a lot of y'all are scared to talk about, the motherfucking cracker-ass Jews. Like Steve Harvey. He don't give a damn about slavery. But you ain't say that about the Holocaust. You bitch-ass nigga. You bitch-made punk. You ain't say shit about the Holocaust. None of them. Because that'll be it. The cracker gonna take all his toys back. Because the reason you motherfuckers are giving royalties, the shit is a loan. As long as you stay in line and don't say nothing to expose us while we oppress your people, your family and them, if you don't say anything, you are allowed to have riches and wealth to give the false illusion that getting wealth is possible for everybody of color, which is a goddamn lie. You know, and if you tell the truth actually how you got it, you probably will commit suicide. Because you be too ashamed to tell the world and your brothers and sisters and your family that you got on your motherfucking knees, you know, and swallowed white semen, you know, and took a motherfucking a pink motherfucking dick in your butt to get a movie role. And that goes on all day. And then that's why a lot of you motherfuckers just sniff coke, because you try to blind your mind and block all that shit out by staying numb all day. You know, but a lot of us know what the deal is. You know, it ain't just one or two motherfuckers. They look for the hardest, so-called hardest motherfuckers, you know, that's feared. And that's what they do. Like Ice Cube and, you know, Shaq, you know, motherfuckers that have the appearance, 50 Cent, that have the appearance that, you know, they straight goddamn G's. You know, the game and all that. And then they let them get tatted up. You know, because the reason why you get tatted up is to try to cover all that motherfucking shit that went on with you. You know, the butt pirate shit, you know, sitting on being on the director's couch. You know, like Tay Diggs and Anthony Anderson. You know, even Michael B. Jordan. He took on, you know, the bisexual appearance now. You know, the tight leather jackets with the mohawk haircuts, with the blonde shit dyed in it, the red gold shit dyed in it, with a twisted half twist. You know, no facial hair. You know what I'm saying? You know, no motherfucking hair on your ass. None of that. Wearing these motherfucking thongs with these tight ass jeans. You know, with these motherfucking little ass shoes, and you know, getting your fingernails motherfucking dyed and all that motherfucking shit. You know, and that's the price you gotta pay for fame. You know, and they'll give you these roles, these little black roles. You know, these little stories about you know how our ancestors triumph over a lot of adversities that laid in their way. You know, several decades ago. You know, but you know, and that's why Taraji P. Henson. You know, certain people always at the top. Will Smith, they're always at the top. Jamie Foxx, they're always at the top. Tyrese, for these roles. Vin Diesel, you know, and they know all they do is make them, you know, they come to the parties, you know, with all the producers, the directors, they be upstairs, you know, doing raw cocaine and all that, you know, and they got them motherfuckers up there naked with Chinese robes on and slippers, like 50 Cent was saying when he was approached like that. And they sit up there and they throw a script in your face and you do a couple of lines, and then next thing you know, a hand is either on your ass or dick. And they saying, you know, it's this a $30 million movie. 30 million. You know, you can get that big house, that mansion, you can have butlers, you can have maids, you know, possible you can win an Academy Award, you know, your acting ability is superb. They tell you all that. You know, but you gotta drop them pants. You gotta drop them pants and do the motherfucking get down with the Roman Empire. You know, because those acts, those perverted acts, see, according to the cracker, they don't see nothing wrong with that because that's in Caucasian Caucasoid tradition. They've always done that. That's, you know, even in the Bible, in the book of Leviticus, it gives priests, it gives them a pass to go and sodomize the little boys that have not been circumcised. You had to, you know, that's why a lot of y'all don't know the Bible. You sit up there and holler hallelujah, but you don't even know what the fuck is in there. You know, and so that's why the Pope does what he does. You know, in exchange, He gives them a false hope like he's the vicar of Christ. So after these so-called Guinea, these WAP motherfucking Italians, you know, and that's why like the man said, the Irish man said, he told the Italian, you know why they call y'all WAP? Because y'all piece of shit and you throw it on the wall and it says WAP, you know. But nevertheless, y'all soprano, Al Pacino loving motherfuckers, Sylvester Stallone, fucking Rocky Marciano, you motherfuckers that love that shit, you know. But when these motherfuckers, the mafia, so-called mafia, when they kill 5 and 6 black families and poison half of Harlem and Upper Manhattan and all that shit, you know, and they kill motherfucking brothers and sisters, they go to the Vatican, you know, or the Washington Cathedral, you know, and do confession, you know, and give up about $30,000-$40,000, and then this motherfucking cracker say they've been forgiven, you know, and we, you know, it's a, you know, they have, you know, been pedophiles from the beginning, even in the Roman Empire. Now I'm gonna explain that to you real quick. In the Roman Empire, what they used to do, Greco-Roman wrestling, like high school wrestling, when the guy be on all fours, another guy be holding his waist in one arm, and they had these tights and all that shit on. High school wrestling, college wrestling. That was it's called Greco-Roman wrestling, which was done in the Roman Colosseums, which only men could come to the wrestling matches in the Colosseum. So when the guy's on top of the other guy wrestling and he's trying to get the guy off of him, it appears that the guy looks like he's raping him and the guy on the bottom is trying to prevent that. And so while that activity is taking place, the motherfucking faggot ass Romans in the audience, they get erections off of that shit. And so when he breaks out of that hole, you know, it destimulates them. So they don't no longer have an erection, and the guy that was holding him is penalized. And that's the same way Greco college Roman wrestling, how it was formed, and it's still like that today. So, you know, that was just you know, a tidbit for y'all. So, you know, that's enough of me for right now. I'm gonna go break bread and see y'all in the morning, or, you know, with the permission of the Creator and the ancestors, you know, I'll be back shortly. But in the meantime, peace, Black Power.